Baltras, who's also deals with Pseudomonas and is a PI here at University of Arizona. And we got together and we hatched a plan to kind of make this matchmaking program for microbiology kind of swipe right for research, right? But so by Juneteenth, we had over 250 applications, over 100 mentors, and we matched about, I think, somewhere around 120 students. And then we did a second cohort. So we had a total of 250 students in the program, undergraduates, and somewhere around 160 mentors, all working together to give unique virtual research experiences to the undergraduates. And it was just, we have our website that has a lot of the presentations that all these students did. And I mean, we were just blown away by how much it not only impacted, them by, what they said, but how much it impacted us, because, in a summer that was needed, it was food for the soul. So the name of the program is actually the National Summer Undergraduate Research Program, or NSURP. So if you look up nsurp.org, that's where our program is located.
Okay, so I think that because I had a different background from everyone, I'm Nigerian. I was born and raised in Nigeria. So many of the opportunities that we have here isn't necessarily as many in Nigeria. So as soon as I finished my undergrad, I had the opportunity to join an international research program that were trying to determine the antimicrobial susceptibility pattern of neonates that came down with sepsis. And so I was part of the project. So that sort of like gave me an idea of what research looked like. And so that sort of like also strengthened my interest in antimicrobial resistance as well. So then I applied to my current school, Binghamton University, and I think I also have a very good PI. There are times when I struggle with imposter syndrome, especially as a Black female. And so my PI has been doing a really good job, making me understand that I can actually do it. I remember when I told her that I was going to be on this panel, and I was like, I'm not sure if I can do this. And she was like, I think you can do it. So all the different opportunities, like application for grants, application for different conferences, where I feel like I don't really think I have all the data that I need to present. And she's like, it's actually a work in progress. You should actually attend all these conferences and learn how to present. And that's going to, help you to become better when you even have much more results to show to the public. So I think because of that, I've been really passionate about mentoring other undergrads as well. So I have an undergrad in my lab, and I'm actually looking to mentor other undergrads, especially from underrepresented minority groups. So yeah, that's all of the opportunities I've had in the past, and I'm hoping that during the course of my PhD, I'm probably going to look out for more opportunities and also help people along the way.
I think for myself, I think a common thread for many scientists is mentorship and sponsorship. Mentorship meaning someone who's there to help guide us when we don't know what's happening, who can help us, look over grants, help us with our CVs, our resumes, our tenure packages. As a scientist, I've found that in order to move forward, I need those people in my life. And some of them are other scientists, and some of them are not scientists, right? They're in humanities, or their family, their friends. I can't imagine how many talks my husband's listened to before I give them. But you also need sponsors. You need people who are willing to put their necks out and say, I will vote for that person, or I am going to nominate this person for that award, or I think that this is someone who we should bring in to interview for graduate school or job or whatever. And I think that in science, at least as I have moved forward in my career, I've realized that sponsorship really matters, especially for helping us get the pipeline past graduate school and all the way through into the actual faculty parts, right? We're doing really great with getting students into graduate school. We're doing less great at getting them through their postdoc into successful faculty positions for those who want to do it. Not everyone needs to be a faculty member. I think we need to also be really open with that. And so for myself, I really work hard with my own students and the students whose committees I'm on to remind them that there are many opportunities in science, and we need smart scientists in many of those things like government. politicians, if there are people out there who are interested in going to politics, we really need smart PhD scientists to think about running for office at all levels of government. But nonetheless, I think that even if you are not in academic science, you need people who will go to bat for you. And I've luckily had those people in my life, and I can think through numbers of them who I know, and there are also those that we don't know. And so I think that that's an opportunity that's important to be part of the discussion of how can we help sponsor people, but not always get the praise for doing it.
Oh, okay, Corinne, number one, all of y'all have dropped a bunch of gems, but Corinne touched on something that a lot of people, I don't know what to say to my mentees, number one. And a lot of postdocs, they talk about it a lot. And even in grad school, they talk about it. So the question I have for you, and as well as all of the panelists, and maybe Victoria, you probably have experience with this, is how do you know that you will be a good PI? How do you know that the ideas that you are thinking inside your head are worth it? Like, it's worth it to me, but is it worth it to get funded? Number one, that's one of the first questions. And then I think for those who are, they're kind of stepping back of, I'm not sure if I want to be a PI. How do you determine when is the right time to pivot and to actually say, okay, well, I don't think I'm super interested in being a PI. What can I do to pivot and be, in government or to be a politician? Like, what does that look like? I think that has eluded a lot of us for a long time. And so it would be great to hear y'all thoughts on that.
I'm going to jump in because I have thoughts about this. And the number one thought is that every year you should be evaluating what do you think about your life in graduate school and postdoc. And so one thing that I do with my students and fellows every year is that we have an annual self-review where we leave my office and we talk for 2 to 3 hours about how is your life going? What are your goals? Have you met the goals you had for yourself last year? Where do you see yourself 1, 3, 5, 10 years from now? And it's okay if it changes. Clearly, if you're a second-year graduate student, it's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't know in your 4th year postdoc. But if you start thinking about it ahead of time, you can start making sure to take the opportunities that are available to you to develop those skills. So for example, I've had students who know that they want to go on to do high school teaching. At Harvard, you can take extra courses to receive your teaching certificate. You can do it for free if you're a student. You have to pay if you're not. So if you know ahead of time that this is something that you want to do, you should start taking those classes partway through graduate school. And we can arrange your research to adapt for that, right? And it's the same thing if you're interested in government or you think you might be interested. Go to your local town meeting. Go to your local city council meeting. Sit in the sessions. See if this is something you're interested in doing. And if you do, ask for time off lab or find a way to balance the time that you're doing your research, which is clearly your first priority, to get the experience in these other disciplines. And that's just a small way to do that. I'll let the other panelists jump in.
I'm just before the other panelists do it, I'm just so geeked to finally have an answer to tell my mentees. Okay, sorry, go ahead, you guys.
So I was, when I was a postdoc and I was kind of working on the copper project and Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is what my laboratory works on now, I started having so many ideas that I felt like I needed an army. I was like, oh, I guess that's what it's like to be a PI, just to have like all these ideas. So you need an army. It's a lot more to it than that, of course, which we could go into as well if you want to. But that was kind of the watershed moment as far as saying, well, I'm having all these ideas that at least I think that they're good. I'll have to convince other people of that, but at least I feel like I have enough to sustain work for quite a few people. I think what it comes down to is having the confidence that you'll be able to ask the next question. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily have that confidence throughout. And with that, I would say, if you're reading a paper and you can predict the next experiment, that should give you the confidence right there. It's like, you know what the next experiment in this paper should be? It should be this. Oh, cool. Or, if you're having a good idea and you look at PubMed and somebody has already done it,
Mission.
Don't be discouraged. Be happy that you have publishable ideas.
So true.
So, it's a matter of, shifting your mind on how you think about it. And so, you go from that and you say, well, what if I'm a PI, I'm going to have to hire people and support them. I'm going to have to get grants. And like, what am I supposed to do with that? Well, I think that if you have an idea that's a scientific idea and you're really passionate about it, that's the first step. And there's a lot of steps that go to that as far as, okay, you have to learn how to write, you have to learn how to present. But if you can write your science in a passionate way, you can get somebody to edit it. You can get somebody to help you read over it. But it has to be, you have to feel a certain way about the science that you're doing. You have to be passionate about it. And that's kind of when you are able to take projects from postdoc, or you have an idea in your postdoc that you can carry through to be a PI. That's the other place that it just needs to come from. It has to be from that moment of like, you know what? I don't know if I could do anything other than this. If I don't do this, I don't think I'll be happy.
And so can we just pause right there? Because I want to include Victoria. So I know when I was going through my grad school program, I had some of these same issues. I was like, I don't know if I can be a PhD. Number one, I don't know if I could be a PhD. These people are smarter than me. And they keep quoting all these papers from memory. Like, that's the number one thing. It's like, oh my goodness. But it's because, I know why they do that and how they do that. But as a trainee, Victoria, and you're laughing because I'm pretty sure a lot of trainees feel this way. But one of the things that kept me motivated was, just like Michael said, other people had ideas and they put them in the papers, and I would be like, see, I know I'm getting this PhD because this person who already got a PhD and they're getting funding, they had the same idea as me, or the editors had the same idea. But it doesn't matter. Either way.
They didn't even do the right control.
Either way, they still got it in the paper. So have you ever experienced that, Victoria? Does that keep you going and motivated too?
Oh.
Okay, so that's one big
wow. Y'all.
This is one of the questions I've actually been wrestling with, because right now I'm in my third year and I'm trying to decide whether I want to go into the industry or I want to be in academia. And I think the major concern for me is whether I can be able to juggle, mentoring so many grad students and some undergrads and, trying to write grants, trying to chase papers, trying to publish so many papers within a specific period of time. So I've been trying to think about that a lot. And I've also been trying to think, do I want to actually go into the industry where I just do my 9-to-5 job and, and then I'm done. But I also know that there's a very huge scarcity of Black professors in academia. So it's me trying to balance this scarcity and trying to see how I can actually play that role and how I can actually be able to, maybe pursue academia. I don't know, but it's still something I still have in the pipeline. I've actually taken the teaching certificate thing course that Dr. Gibbs talked about. But I don't know. Okay. It's just, either way it goes for me. I don't know. Maybe in my fourth year, I'm going to eventually decide. I don't know. But yeah, I have those concerns that you mentioned. It could be very intimidating sometimes when you're in a lab meeting and people are just, bringing up different things. They're citing different papers and you're like, okay, I'm not sure I'm supposed to be in grad school. But I guess it's just, it's a learning curve. And I think that how I actually measure my progress is I look back at my previous year and I see, am I actually better off than my previous year? So long as I am, and I realize that I'm actually learning, then that's all I need. So
that's exactly the mindset that I hope a lot of trainees have. And so with that, Jessica, do you have any comments about, how do I know my ideas are worth it? When should I be a PI? Hold on. I'm
sorry, I have to interrupt. Can we change the conversation? Because clearly your ideas are worth it, right? Like I fundamentally disagree with that premise. I think everyone who is in graduate school, going after your PhD, whether you're getting master's or PhD, just take that out of your mind. Your ideas are worth it. You are a smart individual. So I think the question should be, if you don't mind me changing a little bit, how do you develop the confidence to go after what you want in your life?
Period. Period. That is a really good question. Yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't matter what you want to do, whether it's academia, government, politics, whatever. How do you go after what you want, and how do you identify it? And like you said, how do you get the confidence? So, Jessica, let's figure out that the answer to that new question.
Well, I think that's experience, and I think that's mentorship. Because in my postdoc, I think my that experience gave me the tools I needed to have the confidence to know that I could sustain a research program. And honestly, one of my fears from the beginning of my postdoc was, well, what if I run out of ideas? You know, how can I come up with enough ideas to sustain like a 20-year research program or lab? And so I think what happens is you have to put your ideas out there.